The big question is how on earth it was transported from northeast Scotland.
They must have been very technically advanced to be able to do that.
And why the people back then thought it was so important to bring it all this way.
As you watch this, a 5,000-year-old structure stands on the Salisbury Plain, and according to a new analysis, it may be counting down to something.
Now to an incredible find overseas from the famous site of Stonehenge, and it suggests that mysteries that shroud this region are bigger than many of us even thought.
Recently, an AI processed everything we know about Stonehenge: geological surveys, archaeological records, astronomical charts, and acoustic experiments collected across more than a century. Researchers expected a minor insight. Instead, the system uncovered a pattern so precise it reframed the monument entirely. For generations, Stonehenge has been described as a temple, an observatory, or a burial ground. The AI suggested something different: a machine. Not symbolic, not ceremonial, functional. The stones, their placement, and their origins appear deliberately engineered toward a single purpose. And if the model is correct, that purpose connects directly to a moment unfolding in our own time. For centuries, humans asked the same questions. How were the stones moved? Why align them with the solstice? Why here? The mystery felt complete enough to admire, but never fully understand. But when the AI examined the entire dataset without human assumptions, it found something unsettling. The stones aren't random. Their origins aren't symbolic. And the point in space they align toward, long assumed empty, may not be empty at all. If the AI's calculations are right, with a reported 93% probability, we may be living in the period the builders were preparing for. Let's begin with the stones themselves, because that's where everything changes. We know with certainty that Neolithic people moved every stone to Stonehenge through human effort alone. No glaciers, no natural transport, just ropes, sledges, and labor on a scale almost impossible to imagine. The smaller bluestones, each weighing up to 3.5 tons, were hauled roughly 125 miles from Wales. That alone defies expectations for the era. But the true shock came from new analysis of the altar stone, a 6-ton slab once believed to come from southwest Wales. Evidence now points far north, Scotland, nearly 400 miles away. Imagine dragging a fully loaded pickup truck hundreds of miles using nothing but muscle power. No wheels, no engines, just coordination and endurance. The journey would cross forests, rivers, and steep terrain. Hundreds of workers rotating in shifts, supply lines for food and water, engineers solving gradients and friction in real time. This wasn't a ritual procession. It was a logistical operation, comparable to a military campaign, which raises a question that refuses to disappear. Why? There were massive stones much closer to Salisbury. Why move this specific stone from this specific place? The AI's answer changed everything. It analyzed mineral composition, crystalline structure, and electromagnetic properties across every stone in the monument. Each source location produced a unique electromagnetic signature. The model suggested these stones weren't chosen for symbolism or appearance. They were selected because each behaved differently within Earth's magnetic field. In other words, they were components. Think about assembling a modern machine. You don't pick random parts. Every material serves a role. According to the AI, Stonehenge was designed the same way, except the builders weren't working with electricity. They were working with magnetism, resonance, and geology. The bluestones from Wales interact differently with magnetic fields than the local sarsen stones. The altar stone's crystalline matrix makes it unlike anything else in the structure. Together, the stones form a system where each material contributes a specific function. Remove one, and the machine fails. If this interpretation is correct, the builders possessed an understanding of material properties that feels impossibly advanced for the Neolithic world. The design wasn't flexible. It required those exact stones from those exact locations. That realization alone forces a reevaluation of ancient capability. But it gets stranger when astronomy enters the story. Stonehenge's alignment with the summer solstice has been documented for centuries. On the longest day of the year, the sun rises perfectly over the heel stone, beautiful, predictable, and widely accepted. But the AI wasn't interested in the obvious alignment. When researchers fed it reconstructed star charts from 5,000 years ago, the system identified a secondary alignment, subtle, nearly invisible, and far more significant. This alignment doesn't track the sun or moon. It points toward a fixed location in deep space that appears empty to the naked eye, and it doesn't happen every year. The full alignment occurs on a massive cycle, separated by thousands of years. According to the model, the monument was designed to reach peak function only during that narrow window. The AI's confidence level, 93%, which leads to the next question. What happens when it activates? A few years ago, researchers created a precise 3D printed model of Stonehenge to test its acoustic behavior. They discovered the circular arrangement traps and amplifies sound in unusual ways. Inside the ring, echoes behave differently, creating a focused acoustic environment. The AI pushed that data further, running millions of simulations across frequencies beyond human hearing. The result was disturbing. Stonehenge appears optimized to generate and focus infrasound. Infrasound sits below human hearing, but not below human sensation. Studies link exposure to anxiety, dread, unease, and disorientation. Some experiments even show visual disturbances as eyeballs subtly vibrate. Now, imagine the full-scale monument generating infrasound during that rare cosmic alignment. The model suggests effects could spread for miles. Entire populations immersed in a frequency capable of shaping emotional states without words. Control without force. Visitors to Stonehenge today sometimes report strange sensations, unease, energy, emotional shifts. The AI suggests those feelings may be faint echoes of what the structure was designed to produce at full capacity. For decades, archaeologists promoted a comforting interpretation, Stonehenge as a monument of unity. Burials near the site show people arriving from across ancient Britain, suggesting cooperation and shared effort. The AI looked at the same evidence and reached the opposite conclusion. Transporting multi-ton stones across hundreds of miles requires enormous organization, continuous labor, engineering knowledge, supply networks, specialists coordinating movement and survival. Such an operation doesn't emerge from loose cooperation alone. The AI ran societal simulations. Every successful scenario required centralized authority, a ruling class capable of directing vast human resources over decades. But here's the paradox. We don't find evidence of that power structure. No palaces, no fortifications, no weapons caches, no administrative centers. The AI called this missing civilization the Ghost Empire. Not an empire defined by armies or borders, but by knowledge. A small elite that understood geology, acoustics, and astronomy at extraordinary levels. The stones collected from different regions weren't symbols of unity. They were proof of control, tribute from territories under influence. The model depicts a rigid hierarchy, a small group of experts at the top and a massive labor force below. Most workers didn't need to understand the machine, only to build it. But how do you maintain control without armies? The answer may be the machine itself. If Stonehenge generated infrasound capable of influencing emotion and behavior, the builders could maintain compliance without violence. No battles, no swords, just vibration, fear, and authority reinforced through experience. The Ghost Empire may have ruled through understanding rather than force, building something intended to operate long after their own lifetimes. Which brings us to the central question. What was the machine for? After modeling all available data, the AI proposed three possibilities. First, the shield. Perhaps Stonehenge was designed as a defense system. The cosmic alignment could mark a recurring natural event, a geomagnetic storm, radiation burst, or energetic phenomenon powerful enough to threaten life. The stone's arrangement might absorb or redirect energy, creating a protective zone. In this scenario, infrasound acts as a warning signal, telling people to seek safety. The Ghost Empire becomes a civilization trying to protect humanity. Second, the amplifier. What if the machine wasn't meant to defend against the event, but to harness it? The stones could act like a lens, focusing incoming energy. The infrasound might synchronize large groups of people, preparing them for a massive ritual or transformation. The AI suggests possibilities ranging from attempts to communicate with unknown forces to efforts aimed at altering reality itself. In this version, the population wasn't protected. It was used. Third, the gateway. The most extreme scenario proposes Stonehenge was designed to manipulate resonance itself. Each stone vibrates at a different frequency. Together they create a harmonic pattern that could theoretically interact with space-time. If amplified during the cosmic alignment, the structure might generate localized resonance capable of opening a doorway, not metaphorically, but physically. The empty point in space becomes a destination. The Ghost Empire may have possessed a map beyond ordinary dimensions. Were they trying to leave or trying to let something in? And here is the part that changes everything. The AI didn't just analyze what Stonehenge might do, it calculated when. The alignment isn't a distant event thousands of years away. According to the model, we are approaching the activation window now. Not today, not tomorrow, but close enough to matter. Think about that. 5,000 years ago, people invested generations of labor into a machine designed around a cosmic cycle. They encoded timing into stone, and that timing points toward us. For the first time, we may understand what they built, but we might be realizing it at the exact moment it becomes relevant. The real question isn't whether the AI is right. The mathematics align. The astronomical calculations are verifiable. The acoustic properties exist. The geological precision is real. The builders weren't wrong about materials. They selected stones with measurable electromagnetic differences. They weren't wrong about acoustics. Infrasound generation is physically plausible. They weren't wrong about astronomy. The alignments are mathematically precise. So why assume they were wrong about timing? The Ghost Empire vanished. Whether they succeeded, failed, or were erased by the machine they built, we don't know. All that remains is the structure itself, silent for millennia. Stand inside Stonehenge today, and you stand inside something we barely understand. Built by people who shouldn't have possessed this level of integrated knowledge, aimed at a celestial event that may be approaching. For 5,000 years, the stones have been quiet. If the AI is right, that silence is nearing its end. The countdown isn't symbolic, it's mathematical, astronomical, written into the arrangement of the stones themselves. Someone built a machine, pointed it at the sky, and set it to activate within a cycle that lands in our era. We finally decoded the message. What we still don't know is whether it's a warning or an invitation. If this story makes you wonder what else might be hidden beneath history's surface, don't look away. Countless mysteries still wait in the shadows of the past. Subscribe to Forgotten Depths and join the search, because the deeper we dig, the stranger the story becomes.